morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to worship with the Unitarian Universalist Church of Ventura. I am the Reverend Dana Warsnop, minister of this congregation, and delighted to be so. And I greet the good people here in the sanctuary who are still filing in, as usual, and all of you out in Zoom and YouTube land who are joining us virtually. It is such a gift for us to be able to be together in these ways. It was 2 years ago, nearly to the day, we were leading up to a grand stewardship drive kickoff and party with no idea how our lives would change overnight. And since then, we have survived and even thrived, gone through several cycles of grumpiness and grace, which was the title of the sermon that I preached on what would have been Celebration Sunday last year, 2 years ago. And we're still here. We are still here, in person and online. Church theme for the month of March is renewing faith, which feels fitting for the time when maybe we're actually emerging from the woods. And one of the gifts of this time of upheaval, through it all, the depth of our understanding of many systemic issues. This is making some fun noises. The depth of our understanding of many systemic issues has grown through all this time. Social activist and change agent Adrienne Marie Brown has called this the unveiling. She says it's not that things are getting worse. Rather, they are getting uncovered. And once uncovered, we keep acknowledging deeper and deeper truths. And in this time, what we have adopted more regularly and fully a practice that each Sunday morning we hold up the reality that the lands that we are currently occupying, that we are living upon, were taken away from their original inhabitants. In Ventura, this is the Chumash people, and may we hold this truth as one of many truths in our lives. I have just a couple of announcements. A request has come in for the people out in Zoom land that if you can, please keep your Zoom screens on, so that people you can get a sense of community there together. And there's a particular thing at the end of the service that I'm going to ask you to do that. So the sense of community deepens and grows for you if your screens are on. To the extent that you can do that, please do. Also, just letting you know that the reopening team, the board, and the religious education community are currently in a process of reassessing, again, our policies regarding COVID and opening and closing, and we're just looking at the situation and assessing. So look for changes and announcements in the weeks ahead. Lastly, coffee hour. We are still going to do coffee hour, and this time it's going to be out front. We're seeing where it lands the best. Our religious education program is back in person, outdoors, and so we are a full worshiping community this morning, which feels lovely. So let us arrive fully together. bringing all that we have into the space that we create together, giving and receiving, receiving and giving. Let us enter sacred space.
Hello, I'm Worship Associate Sue Brinkmeyer. We invite those of you that are zooming in or streaming into our service this morning to light a chalice or candle at home as Reverend Dana lights the chalice of our free faith here in the sanctuary. We begin our service this morning with these words from Reverend Scott Taylor. We come with our doubts, worn out and worn down, wanting once again to trust, to believe that hope is not as fragile as it sometimes seems, that division is not as deep as it sometimes appears. And so, we light this flame as an act of faith, a reminder, a declaration, a rekindling of the trust that darkness can't ever shut out the light, that kindness is more powerful than we know, that humility and accountability allow us to change, that together we can most certainly bend the arc of this beautiful universe toward justice. Come, let us worship together.
Good morning. I'm Carolyn Bierke, the music director, and I'd like to welcome you all and invite you to join me in singing. Our opening hymn is hymn number 1000, Morning Has Come. The words will be on the screen. Please rise and bow to your spirit. Morning has come, I'll rise and greet the day, dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope here shines upon each face, may it bring faith to guide our journey home. A new day dawns, once more the gift is given. Wonder fills this moment shared together. The light of peace here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. Open our eyes to see a life abounds. Open hearts to welcome it among us. The light of love here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
So that is a hymn that's a little new, but it's so uplifting. The light of hope here shines, and I feel my whole body rising with it. So we're going to sing it some more, and we'll get more confident in it as time goes on. So now we are in for a treat. Carlos Benavides, who is still a relatively new member to our church, has shared some of his vast talent with us and has created a video about our church and what it means to people for what it turns out to be our first direct stewardship drive in 2 years. So sit back, enjoy. Hello, I am the Reverend Dana Warsnop. I was called as minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Ventura just shy of 6 years ago in the spring of 2016. And it's been quite a ride with the good people of this congregation ever since. The amazing thing about church is that we create it together. We bring it into being, conjure it up out of seeming nothing. Nothing but our yearning for community, for spiritual connection, for a kinder world. We bring it into being out of nothing but our devotion, our vision of what is possible, our generosity, our passion for justice, our energy, and our love for one another and for the planet.
My name is Blake Fassett.
And I'm Jeff Fassett.
I'm Rebecca Fassett, and we've been coming to UU for about 4 years. We were looking for a church that just kind of fit into our family, and we had a few friends who said, hey, we started going to UUCV, you guys should check it out, and we thought, why don't we check it out? And we did, and we've been here ever since. In some youth group activities. Can you think of some of the things you've done with the youth group?
We went to the beach.
We went to the beach.
We also went to Arroyo Verde Park, and we played some games and stuff.
Hi, I'm Julie Moore at Unitarian Universalist Church of Ventura, UUCV. I've been here for 20 years, and I love it. We are an ethical community. We aren't just a bunch of people. We're a bunch of people in covenant to create safe space for each other. For me, the transformation that came about when I joined this congregation was that I became a better person, a really different person in a lot of ways. I'd been pretty unhappy for a period of time, and things weren't always working out for me. I really needed to learn how to be in community, and I needed community, and I got both of those.
My name is Garrick, and
I'm Krista.
I'm Danica.
And I'm Mark, and we're the Mendelson family. And we have been going to UU Church of Ventura for 10 years. We just passed our 10-year anniversary. We couldn't believe that we found such a warm and welcoming and loving church right in the town that we were living in.
Well, I love the RE classroom and all the teachers that help us, and they provide us with lots of fun activities.
Learned about other religions and how they are different from us, and what they believe. And about their culture.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that we're encouraged to just find a spiritual practice that works for us and something that you can feel good about and stick with as your personal spiritual practice and helps you feel more grounded. One of the neat things about our church in particular is that the offering, the financial collection that's collected every Sunday is always donated to an organization either outside of the church or one of our groups that helps folks outside of the church. So our offering has gone toward local environmental organizations regularly.
We love UUCV!
Hello, my name is Amada Irma Perez, and people know me here as Amada, but my complete name is Amada Irma.
Hello, my name is Arturo Perez. Most people know me as Artie, and we've been with the UUCV here in Ventura probably since the mid-'80s. We find this community great.
So it has been so important to us, every bit of it, and we have loved every minister that we've ever had and have learned a lot from each one of them.
Yeah, and the good thing is we both belong to women's groups or men's group, and it's so much, it adds so much to our spiritual lives that we can talk. Like I have a group of men that I can talk to.
And for me, I agree about the group. My women's group is so special and so close. We're all so close that I consider them sisters, the sisters I never had.
Hi everyone, my name is Yukio Okano, and I am the current board president of Board of Trustees, and I wanted to introduce my friend Buddy. Some of you may have seen Buddy because our picture has appeared in some of the columns I've written. So I'm glad to say hello to all of you. As a member of UUCV, I've often thought about why people come to church. And I think people come to church for two things, connection and meaning. Connection meaning that they want to be part of a community, and meaning that they're looking for answers to big questions. But I think there's an even bigger reason to come to church, and that is to develop your spiritual growth and to help make the world a better place.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Vasquez. I'm membership coordinator here at Unitarian Universalist Church of Ventura. I've been here for 2 years, and I help connect people with all of our groups. Some of the more popular are Fridays movie night, Tuesdays discussion group. We've got the Social Action Coordinating Committee and Friendship of the Sangha. Yeah, my favorite part of being membership coordinator here at Unitarian Universalist Church is the people and connecting them with each other. They genuinely want to help our community, and I feel privileged in my role.
I'm Edgar Beltran, and I've been a member here at UUCV for about 12 years. So what led me and my husband to UUCV is we were looking for a religious community that would be open and welcoming to our family and a supportive place to raise our daughter. So one of the best parts for me about UUCV has been seeing our daughter thrive and grow in the RE program. She's had some amazing teachers and amazing RE directors who have really fostered her development, and she's made some great connections in the church. One thing I love about this church is that we really are an open community, and you know, as a member of the LGBT community, it's important to me that this church is so supportive.
My name's Fidelity Ballmer. I've been at UUCV for about 2 years, and I'm the Director of Religious Education. I think my absolute favorite part of this position and Unitarian Universalism in general is really letting the kids shape what it is they want to do and what it means to them to actually be a UU. We know Unitarian Universalism is not a box that's set in stone. It's something that they get to shape every single day. So letting them make those choices for themselves is my favorite part.
Hi, my name's Brian Buck, and I hope you've been inspired by this video brought to you by the Generosity Team. This is a pivotal time in our congregation's history. Coming out of the pandemic, we need to be able to forge ahead in this new multi-platform hybrid set of activities. This year, we have a $50,000 matching campaign where your increased pledge will be doubled, tripled, or even quadrupled to help put us on a sustainable financial path. Now is the time to act. You have received a pledge packet in the mail. Please complete the enclosed pledge card and mail it back to the UUCV in the stamped return envelope today. A 14% increase is needed by everyone. I believe that the UUCV and our community are worth it. I hope you do too. And thank you for your pledge.
It is stewardship season when we ask our members and friends to pledge their financial support for the coming year. We do create the church out of nothing but our goodwill and our generosity. We give of our time, talent, treasure, and trust. In a profit-driven, bottom-line, consumer-oriented world, creating spiritual community in this way can be downright subversive. I truly believe that the world is a kinder, more joyful, more just place because the Unitarian Universalist Church of Ventura exists. Go Carlos. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you all, thank you all. Kind of cool, huh? Yeah, it's good to be here, good to be here. And each Sunday, this congregation does give away our whole collection to an organization in the larger community or to funds that help people in our own church. And you at home have two ways to give. Through the link posted in the chat that'll show up in the Zoom chat, or by texting from your phone to 844-901-1779. And those of you who are present can still write a check or give cash and put it in a basket after the service, in the basket at the back, or you can text to give to this number too. Our offering today goes to the Ventura Office of Food and Water Watch to fight for safe food, clean water, and a livable climate for all. Food and Water Watch organizers work to protect people from those who put profit first. Just last month, their work as part of the West Side Clean Air Coalition persuaded the Ventura County Board of Supervisors to take action toward removing the gas compressor that is across the street from E.P. Foster Elementary School in Ventura. There are about 500 people living within a quarter mile of the facility, and nearly 5,000 live within a half mile, close enough to be affected by ruptures, leaks, and explosions. The supervisors unanimously called for the California EPA to perform a health and community impact assessment, these are good first steps toward getting the facility shut down and protecting our children and families, and one Unitarian Universalist minister who lives less than a mile from that plant. Thank you for supporting this work to protect our environment and our people. Thank you for giving generously, as you always do. And we are in for another treat this morning, as two members of our congregation are sharing of their time and talent to bring us music. Thank you, G&J.
Nobody knows the troubles I've been through. Nobody knows my sorrow. Nobody knows the troubles I've been through. No one knows my sorrows. But I've got a feeling everything's gonna be alright. I've got a feeling everything's gonna be alright. Be alright, be alright, be alright. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Free us from fear and hatred so that we all can shine. Free us from fear and hatred so that we all can shine. Free us from fear and hatred so that we all can shine. Let us shine, let us shine, let us shine. Building a new world so that we all can shine. Let's build a new world where we all can shine. Let's build a new world where we all can shine. Let us shine, let us shine, let us shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Thank you so much for your gifts. Thank you so much for your gifts. It is through our generosity that we weave this tapestry of love that we call community, and we are grateful.
And one way we stay connected in this beautiful community is by sharing the great joys and sorrows that grace our lives. We place stone in water for each joy or celebration, and the ripples that go out represent the way that that which touches the heart of one of us travels throughout our community to touch us all. You can submit a joy or sorrow via a link on our website, uuventura.org, or a link in our Thursday email bulletin, UUCV This Week. Those received by 10 p.m. Saturday night will be shared that Sunday. None of us wrote in to share a joy or sorrow this week, but I invite you now to speak into the gathered community or write into the Zoom chat the names of those you wish to celebrate or memorialize, or those in need of the loving embrace of this community. And please feel free to continue to add to the chat even after the silent pause has ended. Reverend Dana will now place a stone in the water for these names and for all the joys and sorrows yet unspoken in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. May we be truly grateful for all that is our life.
Please join me in song. Hymn number 1031, Filled with Loving Kindness. The words will be on the screen. Let us send ourselves loving kindness. Let us send to each other loving kindness. Second verse as we say you, and let us give loving kindness to all of us and beyond as we sing the third time and we say we. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
Our reading this morning is from Leslie Ahuva Fales. All that we have been separately and all that we have become together is stretched out before us and behind us like stars scattered across a canvas of sky. We stand at the precipice, arms locked together like tandem skydivers working up the courage to jump. Tell me, friends, what have we got to lose? Our fear of failure? Our mistrust of our own talents? What have we got to lose? A poverty of the spirit, the lie that we are alone. What wonders await us in the space between the first leap and the moment our feet, our wheels, however we move our bodies across this precious earth, touch down softly on unknown soil? What have we got to lose that we can't replace with some previously unimaginable joy? Blessed are you, Spirit of life, who has sustained us, enlivened us, and enabled us to reach this moment. Give us courage in our leaping and gratitude in our landing, and share with us in the joy of a long and fruitful ministry together.
I invite you now into a time of meditation and stillness. Breathe. Be here, now, together. What leap are you ready to make? Who do you trust to link arms with you? How will you fly? Where will you land together? A silent meditation.
kisses us on the face. Anywhere mean we're running, we can sleep and see them coming. Where we drift and call it dreaming, we can weep and call it singing. Our hearts are strong enough, we can bow, 'cause our music's warmer than blood. Where we see enough to follow, we can hear when we are hollow. Where we keep the light we're given, we can lose and call it living. Where the sun isn't only sinking fast, every night knows how long it's supposed to last. Where the time of our lives is all we have, and we get a chance to say before we shining glass, where the time of our lives is all we have. We get a chance to stay before we ease away. For all the love you left behind, you can have mine.
Okay, so my, don't we have a lot of talent in this congregation? Hey, can I have another amen? Thank you. We do bring this community into being together. In a way, we do conjure it out of thin air, though it can become quite substantial. And now it's even virtual, coming to us, created by light waves and pixels in ways that I don't fully understand, but wow, am I grateful for. We create it with all that we are. Part of our new member litany, when new people join the church, says, for the new members, they say to us together, I bring to this new family my talents and enthusiasm, my shortcomings, and my doubts. I will seek ways to contribute and help create a loving community. My good colleague, the Reverend Leslie Ahuva Fales, puts it this way from the reading that Sue read earlier. All that we have been separately and all that we become together is stretched out before and behind us like stars scattered across a canvas of sky, and we stand at the precipice, arms locked together like tandem skydivers, working up the courage to jump. I just heard a waft of laughter from our youth. How lovely, how lovely, how lovely. So we create community out of thin air or by leaping together into thin air. Take your pick. Or, even better, create your own metaphor. We also create community with our generosity, a generosity of spirit that infuses all that we do and all that we make. My first Buddhist teacher, Jack Kornfield, always advises people to begin meditation by practicing metta, or loving kindness, first for self, then for other, then for all. As we sang earlier, it's a practice of everyone wishing goodness for everyone. So you can, if we're all doing it, you can trust that someone is offering it to you, even as you offer it. We do talk about being generous with our time, talent, and treasure. And a couple of weeks ago, I suggested that you give all you can of all three all of the time, because our lives shift and change. Sometimes we have an abundance of all three: time, talent, and treasure. And how great is that? Sometimes we have more of one thing than of the others. And sometimes we have very little of anything at all. In those times, we need the church. We need each other. In those times, most of all. And it continues to break my heart when people tell me, and I hear it frequently, when people tell me that they've stopped coming to church because life has become overwhelming and they feel so badly that they have nothing to give. And when do you need church more than when you are at your wit's end in that way? So those have been GTs that people have talked about for a while. And yet our stewardship theme this year has added a fourth: trust. For trust needs to underlie and support the other three. Without it, our time, talent, and treasure cannot really create the beloved community we yearn for. Trust. Trust is a kind of spiritual practice in and of itself. It takes being vulnerable, showing up with all your gifts as well as your shortcomings and your doubts, showing up with all that you have been, your personal narratives, the wisdom you have gained, the fears that drive you, showing up with it all and engaging with others, creating community as you go, as we go together. Trust is a commodity. Actually, I just can't believe I wrote those words. Trust is a commodity. It's not. But let me still finish that sentence as I wrote it. Let me change it. Trust does seem in short supply in our country, in the world. We've lost our trust in so much, in people and in institutions. We live in a culture that seeks first to blame people or institutions for everything that goes wrong. This is an ancient human inclination, one that social media, alas, amplifies. And there is a healthy level of distrust and skepticism needed to live in an imperfect world with human institutions. Yet a society is built first on trust. We notice when trust is broken. We notice it right away because it is actually largely an exception. The vast, vast majority of all of us do things like follow traffic laws, stopping at red lights, and more. We couldn't drive on the roads without a massive supply of trust in infrastructure and in each other. We couldn't drive on the roads without a massive amount of trust and some healthy skepticism, truly. Just some caution out there all the time. And what I am saying here today is not that we trust without examination, or that there isn't systemic racism and patriarchy woven closely into many institutions, including the church, including, yes, this church. More and more, I am convinced that we need to address those issues close to home in our community, paying attention to things like liquid natural gas compressors built across the street from elementary schools. In our own church, as we seek to discover how to be a truly inclusive community, inclusive of many kinds of diversities. In our own hearts, as we learn to trust when the world has not proven wildly trustworthy all the time. As we learn to lean into kindness and mercy. As we look at the ways our lives have supported and benefited from systemic ills around us. I have been talking a great deal this past year about how we all share the ministry of the church. A shared ministry that must be built on trust. For without trusting each other to share and be shared with and to do the best that we can't create this community together. The model of shared ministry that has been handed down to me by my ministerial forebears is based on 3 practices that I've also been talking about this last year. 3 practices, all of which arise from trust and grow our capacity to trust. Being part of this church invites all to take up a daily spiritual practice. A spiritual practice will strengthen your capacity to be present in each moment, to be present to yourself, to be compassionate with yourself. Buddhist metta meditation does always begin with the self and grows from there. It must begin with the self partly because a daily practice can take you into the deep and sometimes dark places in your heart. And ultimately, it can deepen your trust in yourself. All are also invited into a small group of many sorts, small groups that can bring you closer to others in the community, coming to trust each other deeply, to trust each other enough to share of your heart, to share your lives together, to share your shortcomings and your doubts, your foibles and your fears, your great gifts and capacities, and coming to be vulnerable with others as they are vulnerable with you. Ultimately, knowing yourself and others better and better. Knowing each other well enough that when someone in one of those groups joins the board of trustees or takes up some other leadership position in the church, you still trust them, even when you disagree with them. Trust that they have not somehow become drunk with power in the midst of this congregation. Trust that you know their hearts well. that their hearts don't change when they become a member of the board. It's so easy to do that, though, isn't it? Yeah. If the church is collectively renewing and deepening your faith, your trust in self and each other, we can take that grounding then out into the world, take up some work beyond the self and or the church, creating something that carries you out into the world, that serves the world, that creates more beauty, more joy, more justice somehow in the world. For that to be sustainable, we need to trust that the grounding that the church helps provide will sustain you when the world doesn't always respond to all your gifts with wild enthusiasm, agreement, or the change that you want to see, that you can envision changing the world. Because that happens too. And when we go out into the world and it doesn't go as we most hoped it would, we can come back here and commiserate and be together and plot and plan some more. As we have noted throughout the service so far, this is our stewardship season. And this community is created. We create it together, putting together our time, talent, and treasure. Trust is the actual currency, the energy that grows and sustains the community. And even while that is so, that trust is our currency within the congregation, we also need the currency that takes the form of treasure. And so over the next few weeks, our focus will be on pledging your support for the next year. You may note that this is the first direct stewardship drive we have had in 2 years. Last year, the generosity team decided that everybody just needed cookies. A combination of comfort food and a thank you for hanging in there, staying connected with community, and supporting it financially as best you could. And in these last 2 years, we have been sustained by collective generosity, stimulus checks, and goodwill, the goodwill of all. And even so, even through all of this, the church is still in great shape by at least one of two financial measures. These do not measure spirit, but these are financial measures. The one that is in great shape is, as I have said before, that we have a lot of money in reserve. We also, after 2 years of pandemic, are facing a pretty large deficit going forward. Yet because the church leaders have been frugal and careful stewards of our spending and our legacy funds for decades, we have enough money that we are not going to fall over a cliff. We have 3 to 4 to 5 years to grow the church into financial stability from many directions and in many ways. Consultant Kay Kreider helped the generosity team devise a plan to get us out of the deficit that 2 years of pandemic has wrought. And perhaps yet her greatest gift to us was her assessment of what a vital and healthy congregation we are already creating. to speak directly to the needs that we have going forward in this first year of a multi-year process, you have had, most of you should have received a packet detailing about the matching funds and how we are going to work toward sustainability, not all at once, but over several years. But I also want to point out that overall, in this year, with the matching funds and all, we need overall an increase of 14% in our giving. Now, what we need to also be able to do is to trust that some can and will do more, because some will not be able to increase their giving that much, or perhaps much at all. And I also want to let you know, though, that the Board of Trustees have all committed to a 14% increase or more. So trying to take that leadership and encourage us all to be as generous as we can be. And yet, our consultant, Kay Kreider, who helped us devise all these plans, pointed out to us that this is a vital and healthy congregation that we create together. Now, some might well say, we already knew that. Yet I'm not certain that we always do know how vital and healthy this congregation is. I think that once again we tend to not look at all of the great good things that our trust and time, talent, treasure, and trust has wrought, and sometimes we look at what is not yet here, what is still missing. Partly, I think this is because the trust part can be hard to see day to day. And so I invite you today and beyond to consider the ways that you keep trust with the church and the ways the church keeps trust with you. Living by trust is radical, subversive, impossible, you may say. And yet, it is exactly how we create community. This is how, in the words of one of my favorite hymns, this is how we show to all a new community. New possibilities, new ways of living that can transform the world. Trust doesn't mean that we expect or seek perfection. Trust does mean that we assume good intentions of folks in the church. That mistakes are just that. And it means that we own our mistakes. Individual, collective. We own our mistakes, we learn from them, we ask forgiveness, and we forgive, and we carry on. Our elbows entwined, supporting and reassuring one another all the way through. I close then with the words that began our service by the Reverend Scott Taylor. We come with our doubts, worn out and worn down, wanting once again to trust, to believe that hope is not as fragile as it sometimes seems, that division is not as deep as it sometimes appears, that we may trust that darkness can't ever shut out the light, that kindness is more powerful than we know, that humility and accountability allow us to change, And that together we can most certainly bend the arc of this beautiful universe toward justice. Amen. May it be so. I invite you to join me in some moments of prayer. Holy beingness of many names and no name, kindness, integrity, courage that invites us into deeper, trusting relationship. Spirit of life, which dwells within and among and beyond us this day and always. May we learn radical trust. May we live into that trust and prove worthy of it. May trust guide us and form us, allowing us to open into love, generosity, joy, and carrying all of that, may we also open our hearts to be with the people of Ukraine and with all those across the world whose lives are now changed by the aggression of a tyrant. In the face of it all, may we continue to trust, to grow, to change, to love. And may all those who are ill find healing. May those who are in despair find hope. May those who are without shelter find home. And may all those suffering war and conflict throughout the world, may we find peace. Amen. And blessed be.
Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing Building a New Way, hymn number 1017. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. Peace and freedom is our cry. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
You'll remain standing for the benediction. First, we're going to extinguish the chalice.
Please join me in reading the words that will soon be up on the screen as we prepare to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Those we carry into our lives until we are together again.
I invite all of you who are on Zoom to stick around for breakout rooms. And today for the benediction is a particularly good time, as I said earlier, for Zoomers to turn on your videos so that you see each other together. Those who are here, if you've cashed your checks for Food and Water Watch, you can drop them in the back of the sanctuary after the service. And I invite you today to lock elbows with someone next to you, if you wish. And on your Zoom screens, look side to side at who's beside you or up and down, however your screen is working. Just elbows, just elbows. Yeah, okay. Oh my, we're getting back to some old, we're together. Okay. I leave you with these words that are adapted from the Reverend Erica Hewitt. The person beside you, here or on the Zoom screen, the next Zoom screen over, is someone whose heart is sometimes tender, whose skin is sometimes thin. Hey, come here. Whose skin is sometimes thin, whose eyes sometimes fill with tears, and whose laughter is a beautiful sound. The person beside you is someone who is seeking wholeness and trusts that you are doing the same. As you leave today, may your hearts remain open. May your voices your voices stay strong, and may your arms remain outstretched, ready to lock elbows and leap. Go forth in love. Go forth in peace. May it be so. See how good it is when